Good morning. We're here with Bruce Porter. We're going to be talking dollars and cents. We don't know what, but we're going to figure it out right after this.
Putting the client first. That was my main priority some 20 years ago when I started the Resource Center, and it remains my priority today. That's why I wrote Finding the Courage to Retire, to help guide you confidently along a journey that should be the most rewarding of your life, from creating sustainable income and preservation strategies to understanding Social Security, Medicare, and much more. This book is the retirement roadmap you need. To get your free copy, just call or email our office today.
All right. I know I have a question.
All right. Ask away.
We got all this stuff going on in Israel. I mean, it's going to be an all-out war. Mm-hmm. We don't know who all's going to get dragged into it. Iran, us,
well, they're
all of that
funding
stuff. We know Iran's behind it. I mean,
Yeah.
we got all that. They planned it. They funded it, all that stuff. That's got to have an impact on our markets.
Well, I mean, that could go both directions. You know, sometimes a war is economically pretty fundamentally can be an enhancement.
That's a rabbit trail we can chase down for a long ways.
Well, I mean, but the problem is it's a proxy war.
Yeah.
So who do you think is encouraging Iran? China and Russia, because they're buying $1 million or 1 million barrels of oil a day. Mm-hmm. So because the buffoon in Washington eased up on those sanctions because we just want everybody to get along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
right?
They won't. They can't.
And they can't. They won't. They fought for thousands of years. So this, I guess I can't call him a dumbass on. Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
So the guy in Washington that give him back $6 billion, and what did they do? They haven't got it yet, but they know they're going to get it because it's been freed up. So they're leveraging that, and they funded this deal. Now Israel's getting attacked by Lebanon. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, and now Syria's not really on this side. And so then you got Hezbollah on the north.
Yeah, Gaza. Mm-hmm.
I think Gaza, the Hamas. I think from decapitating babies and women. Mm-hmm. I think Israel's going to wipe them off the face of the map. Which they're evil. This is pure evil. I think that could possibly happen.
Yeah, I don't think Israel's going to stop.
No, I don't think they're going to slow down. Now, this thing with Iran, okay, where are we at there? So we have a very difficult situation. It's going to be costly for the United States, and it's a proxy war. We are not at war. We don't have a functioning Congress. So, we're in a pickle right now.
We may get a vote here in a few hours. We'll see what happens.
And we'll see. But, when you have an incompetent government, then something like this pops up, it escalates to an exceptionally difficult problem. Now, what's it going to do to the markets? I think that it could negatively impact the markets on the short term. I think if it becomes a full-scale war, I think everybody's going to be nervous. The things that I think impact the market are the dysfunctionality of the government. We have no trade agreements that are working. We have no economic policies at all. So the guys in Washington, they raised interest rates because they created inflation. They're the only entity that can do that. Mm-hmm. Now they're trying to say, well, we're going to fix the problem. So they create the problem. Now they're raising interest rates. So everybody with a bank CD is happy, but anybody wanting to buy a house or a washer and dryer or a car, they can't. Mm-hmm.
Well, we can because we did, but it was a little higher than we thought.
So economically, it's hurting our economics. So what do I see them doing? I see them possibly bumping that rate again, the Fed rate, by the into the fourth quarter, I think. But I think first, second, into the third quarter of next year, they're going to start tapering that rate down so that they can use that as a Ponzi or a pawn to say, look what we're doing, look how our economics are working, look how we've lowered interest rates and now you can buy a house. See, they're going to try to capture the younger vote by bragging about their economic policy, and all they're going to do is lower interest rates. And so if they can get mortgage rates back down below 4%, the housing market is going to pick back up. I could see that happening. So if you're an S&P type investor where you want a diverse portfolio, right now we have 12 months prior, we're October. So if we have the next 12 months, I think the S&P could be stimulated if the interest rates come back, if they start tapering. From my banking contacts, that's what they're anticipating. So in that regards, 1 month prior to the election, we could see a bump in the S&P again, just like we've seen the last 12 months when the S&P has actually come back up about 15 to 18%, even though it's still negative from what it was in 21, but it's actually come up. I could see that coming up again in the next 12 months. But prior to the election is when I think all this activity is going to go on, and then they're going to brag about it, and they're going to try to get reelected. We cannot take 4 more years of this nonsense.
No, we really can't.
And so if that happens, like I've preached all along, get your house in order, get your estate plan in order, come to our workshops. If you are timid about your market investments, sit in the back seat for a while. Let somebody else drive.
Sure.
Let somebody else invest their hard-earned money and risk it. If you're at the age where you can't afford to risk it, my advice to everybody that's potentially listening, get your money, put it somewhere safe, and wait and see what happens. You consider the next 5 years. We've got 3 major elections in the next 5 years that'll all 3 be total chaos, right? We have a complete overhaul of the tax code in 2026, and we don't have a functioning government right now.
Yep.
They're not going to agree on that. We have nobody agrees, a dysfunctional government. We have 3 major elections coming up. That's going to be chaos. We have wars on at least 2 different fronts. We've got China and Russia, problems there. We got Iran. We got all this stuff. We have no trade agreements. The world is scared to death because the world has, and the Lord's coming back.
That's right.
And the world has nobody to fall back on for stability. The United States has always been the anchor when it comes to conflict. We're the diplomacy people. We're going to try to talk our way through it, but if we don't, we'll come over there and we'll kick your butt, right?
Right.
That's been the United States' stance all along, but now nobody respects us because we have no leadership.
Yeah.
And you think the Republicans got it figured out? Don't kid yourself. Anybody in Washington right now that I hope is listening, get your act together because you're all a bunch of buffoons. And you all need to go. And we need to start all over. We need a constitutional convention.
That would help. I did speak personally with Eric Burleson, our representative, Saturday night. I got to see Eric, and he came over and we chatted for a little bit. He really does have his head on straight.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. So we got one good guy.
He needs to speak up.
And he is. He's doing a great job up
Josh
there.
Hawley. Josh Hawley, you need to speak up.
Yep.
All of these people that we have put confidence in Missouri, I know we can't change the world,
Right.
but we can sure take care of ourselves.
Yep.
And you know what? We got to pray for them because those guys have got an uphill battle because they're surrounded by lobbyists and the good old boy club and the country club people and everybody. They fight on camera, then they go out to dinner with their wives and they go to their clubs and they're hee-hawing and drinking and having a good time, all at our expense. And you know what? Enough's enough. The United States, we're tired of it. We're done. We need a constitutional convention. We need term limits. We need to get these seniors out, put them in the nursing home where they belong, and be done with it.
I do understand
And I don't
that,
mean that disparagingly.
I do
hope they're all
understand,
good
however,
health.
that they've decided that Dianne Feinstein's death is probably not going to affect her reelection prospects at all. She'll still probably be.
No, she'll probably vote for Biden though in the next
reelected,
election.
but,
You know,
Hey, if you got questions about your money and you want to do anything like that, or you want to wind Bruce up again, you just send us a note here at K-ROG or go see us at theresourcecentering.com. That's
and you know what it says? We need to pray for our leaders, so let's don't forget to do that. And I'll get off my high horse and I'll go back to church and see if I can get a little, forgiveness.
yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us again. We'll be back next week with more dollars and cents.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement